Scented bitch. It's what Azalea Banks called Zayn Malik over a Twitter dispute back in 2016. Banks was accusing Malik of stealing elements of her music video and incorporating it into one of his own. Unfortunately, the confrontation got ugly, with Banks calling Malik a range of nasty names ranging from the N-word to homophobic language, and eventually a curry-scented bitch. She later apologised. Now, I'm not here to play morality to police on what happened during this Twitter exchange, nor am I here to decide whether Zayn actually was a copycat or to judge Banks' use of social media over the years, including recently digging up her dead cat. But what I am more interested in is what happened in the days to follow this heated exchange. The hashtag #curry-scented-bitch went viral. And no, not because fans of One Direction, Zayn's former band, were swooping in to support their beloved singer, but because the young Asian female diaspora across the globe took ownership of the slur. Images of young brown women were filling up feeds on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. For me, the hashtag reminded me of the many times I was worried that my school blazer would smell of torca, a smell I now love in brown cooking. A smell that no amount of impulse body spray could mask. But more importantly, I was tired of carrying this internalized self-hate that had been with me since I was a teenager. A self-hate that derived from being told that we had no place here. Social media had helped change that. The digital age also had given marginalized voices that had been muted or ignored for so long, a platform to be heard, to show the world that we will no longer be left invisible. As a brown woman, I felt a constant sense of erasure of our existence, and by erasure I mean that our stories and our voices were often ignored. Our voices, our story, our history was never mentioned in the school textbooks, the storybooks and the TV screens, but now the digital world gave us that opportunity. We were unmuted and we were ready to shout. As well as giving us a voice, it gave us a sense of sisterhood and solidarity, a unique bond that hasn't happened in any other time in human history. It's happening in South Asia, but also across the diaspora too. These platforms have allowed marginalized women, women of colour, trans women and non-binary people to design their own forms of feminism, sometimes even a transnational feminist vision. We're currently in the fourth wave of feminism, a wave characterised by a focus on the empowerment of women and the use of internet tools and intersectionality. And like all waves, they'll probably fade and move on to the next, but before it does, I want to make sure that brown women aren't just a footnote in the history books. I've had a love-hate relationship with social media over the years, but without it, my journey as a spoken word poet would have never begun. It transformed my life. It gave me a way of instantly sharing my story with a global audience, and the same goes for other brown women that have now become household names. YouTube stars like Lily Singh and Liza Koshy, actresses like Jamila Jamil and social activists like Ash Sakar, poets like Rupi Kaur, musicians like MIA. When my first poetry performance went viral, little did I know that a new chapter in my life was about to begin. I could share my words with the world and it could actually make a difference. I found other inspirational brown women too. They were online fighting against patriarchy, the systemic forms of oppression, the erasure. I found poets and writers, academics and friends ready to empower one another, many who truly changed my life. I didn't have the social capital or powerful allies in influential positions that could get me to the front of the line on TV screens or at the top of a publisher's desk. All I had were my words, my keyboard, a decent Wi-Fi connection, a mission, and a dream. A dream to make sure that the brown woman's experience in this world could be a happier and healthier one. And that was empowering. But all this empowerment that arrived with the digital age, it came at a price. I naively thought that because no one could physically hurt me or say anything to my face that I was safe, but unfortunately I was very, very wrong. There were people, especially men, that wanted to mute me again, those that feared seeing women at the title of books rather than in the footnotes, telling me, someone with a history of depression and anxiety, that I should kill myself. Death threats, rape threats, troll attacks, bigotry and misogyny. There are people who hate women so much, they hate marginalised women voicing their opinion so much that they'd want you to die. And for what? To make themselves better or more superior, or out of fear that we women may dismantle their patriarchal understanding of the world. There's also all the other scary stuff too, like data mining and cyber snooping and the use of our personal data as capital, with us having no clue about it. The kind of behavioural data that can even be used in political campaigning. Maybe it wasn't such a safe space after all. We're left holding this double-edged sword. The same place that gave us empowerment and freedom to express is the same thing that could cut us back down. So what can we do to make sure that brown women don't get muted again? Well, first, we need to consider how to be safe online and how to use it wisely, how to use it as a tool and don't be the tool. Because if you don't pay for a product, it's most likely that you are the product. And to consider what you use social media for and how much of it you consume. Turn your notifications off and your self-awareness on. I usually remove social media from my phone entirely when I'm working on big projects or during festive periods too, so that I can feel more present with my family, my friends, and my work. Diversify your media so that you can use it as an opportunity for learning and to think critically about the information and the news that you are seeing. Unfollow, block or delete people who bring you no light or no joy, and protect your energy because it's precious and it could be used more wisely in other places. We need to make sure that our voices are being heard off the internet too, because ultimately no app, no website, no page is going to save us. It may help us heal, it may help us find solidarity and sisterhood in the struggle, but it can't be the only thing we rely on. We still need to be fighting for our voice to be heard in wider fields too, in politics, on screen, in books, in music, because one Kamala Harris and one Mira Siao isn't enough. Think about the area that you work in or the skill set that you have and how you can use that as your platform to be heard in a sustainable way. And finally, we need to make sure that we take this sense of community spirit, this sisterhood and solidarity offline too. Whether that's book clubs, supper clubs, support groups, monthly meetups, art exhibitions, music events, or even meeting up with someone for a cup of jar. For me, tea has always provided me with a sense of calm. And for generations, brown women have been having discussions about politics and identity, about motherhood and relationships, about revolutions and change, over cups of tea. We still need to hold space for that. Let's lean into old traditions because there's still a magical energy that can be found when you meet with someone face to face, when you have a group discussion in the same physical environment, or when you simply are in the same room with people that you feel a sense of solidarity with. A large group of brown women, perhaps elderly women, grandmothers, or those with specific health needs, might not be able to access the digital world in the same way that we do. So we need to involve them in these important moments of dialogue too, because these intergenerational conversations can benefit us all. There is a power in human connection, And I'm not sure that's something that's always able to translate online. So let's grab our cups of jar and head to these spaces. Make sure that we use the online world safely and not to treat it as our only means of empowerment. And continue to fight to make sure that our stories, our experiences, our voices never get erased or muted again. I would love to finish up on one of my favourite poems entitled Aging Beauties. Why do brown women hardly age? Maybe it's because they're used to swallowing ugliness down in spades, holding its height in their belly and to never let it show. They're aging on the inside, but I guess we'll never know how they're dying on the inside. Learning to bottle in that rage, the screams filling up in a cage that they will later call a womb. A womb that will birth out a daughter, an ugly, loud, fierce daughter, fighting battles like her mama taught her. So my sisters, stand proud, loud, and be heard like you should. Let's do it for our beautiful mothers that never could.